coming to you from the bowels of the Bennington Elkhorn Valley Railroad. I'm under the layout, and it's not a place I have been very often. This is an opportunity for me to share, and I've told some people before. This is a DCC layout, and I've done very little in terms of wiring. It's a testament to how reliable the NCE power cab is. I'm almost embarrassed to say I only have 3 feeders on what's probably now over 200 feet of layout. My plan is to beef that up because I know it runs pretty smooth, but there's times where I feel like it probably could benefit from a few more drop points, particularly on the opposite sides of turnouts and whatnot. So that's something I'm going to do. Something else that is kind of interesting here, if you see all these wires here in the kind of semicircle, that's actually underneath the roundhouse. So I've got all the wires dropped there for each of the roundhouse positions, but I haven't actually hooked them up. So that's one thing I'm going to do, just to show you how my layout's set up. And again, I don't profess to be an expert. This is just the way I did it, and it works okay for me. This is actually the bus here, a red and black, going all the way across the length of the layout from the NCE control board. But what I use are these terminal control blocks here. So I run the bus up to the 2 center points on that terminal control block. And then what I've done here is I've just literally ran wire off of each of the positive and negative to each of the other points on that terminal control block. And then on the opposite side, that's where I run the feeder. I can run the feeders off of there. That's worked pretty well for me. It's relatively clean. It's probably not as clean as some people's, but it works for me. So I just got another one of these. Unfortunately, this one's a little smaller. I was kind of disappointed. I thought I got the same one I got before, but I didn't, and I just got this at Lowe's. So it's a little bit smaller one. I'm going to be running through to the other side again, on the side where my yard and the roundhouse is. I'll put another control block in there, and yeah, like I say, it's just 14 gauge here, running into 2 sides for positive and negative, and then so all the positive feeders come off of this side, all the negative feeders come off of this side, and that makes it pretty easy to manage. As far as the feeder wires, I've probably talked about this before. So Cat 5 cable. I'm a computer guy. Excuse me, I've got tons of this. Inside the Cat 5 cable are bundles of 24 gauge wire. And these are perfect for certainly for N-scale feeders. So that's what I use. I just recycle the 24 gauge wire that's out of Cat 5 network cable. Works really well for me. So anyway, I'm going to hook up another one of these terminal control blocks and move ahead. So here's what I do with the wires, the bus wire in this case. Whereas on my bigger terminal block, I actually use these little crimpable adapters here that I test into the wire. On the smaller one here, all I did is I just used an X-Acto blade and just cut out a piece of the wire, and then I end up tightening it down under the inside 2 connections, and then I'll connect these outside ones all to that inside one, and that'll let me run the feeder wires off of this opposite side here. And there's a completed one here. You can see the red and black bus wires coming in on this end, and all I've done is taken some of the 24 gauge wire out of the Cat 5 cable, and I've looped them all the way across the top here. So I've looped it from the red down this way. On the black side, I've looped it down this way. So all these guys are connected that way. This on this side over here ends up being where the feeder wires come off of. I actually used that strip side here, each of the bus wires, and ran it just all the way right straight through on this side of the 2 inside portions here, and it runs straight through, so it'll go on to the next terminal control block. So here's one of the twisted pair that come out of the Cat5 network cable. As you can see, it's literally two 24 gauge twisted wires. So to use these guys, it's just a matter of separating these two, which is probably the most difficult part of this. Untwisting them. Probably somebody out there's got a clever way to attach it to a hand drill with some kind of a connection and just quickly untwist it. Most of the ones I work with are relatively short, so there we've got two twisted pieces at this point. So I'm going to use this wire for to run between the between each of the sides, the red and the black bus sides, to get all these guys getting the same positive and negative coming from the bus. So this is pretty small gauge wire, so I just get a little cut here with the X-Acto to expose a little bit. You can usually pull it real hard and you can start to get some off of there. It's a little hard to do the entire wire, so you have to do parts at a time. Slowly work it off. See, we're exposing the wire slowly but surely. Helps to have a little bit of a fingernail to work with. Got another section. Just slowly working it off. That's probably about enough, that length there, for my little terminal block here. So I'm just going to cut it right there. So then what we want to do is we want to wind this around. I just pull all these screws out. Might be able to work it underneath. Earlier I was working underneath the table, it's a little harder under there. So might not have to pull all of them off. The middle one we're definitely going to take off because we need to run the 14 gauge bus wire next to there. But the rest of these ones, I might be able to get away with sticking one under there, wrapping it around. Go over the top, go around another one. Just going to tighten down the outside one here. So wrap it around. Maybe it's definitely easier with all the screws removed. Got these square pieces in here which kind of keeps the wire from getting under. There we go. The wire's under that one. Just pull it tight. And tighten that screw. Wrap it around the next one there. Push to force it under. So loosen this along a little bit more. And it's just about under. Like I said, it's probably almost easier just taking the entire screw off. So trying to get it underneath these square pieces here. There we go. Tighten that screw. So you can see what I'm doing there. I'm just looping these guys around, these outside three, towards getting to the middle one. And that's where I'm going to end up running the bus wire across here. So I'm going to leave this one. It's going to cut off the end. And unfortunately, I can't do this up top where it's comfortable on the table because my bus wire, unfortunately, is down below. So that's what I end up with. I'll end up screwing in the screw here with the bus wire going between these two. So I'm going to do the other side now. And here are this is the original terminal control block. So what I've done here is run the bus wire to new number terminal control block number 1 and terminal control block number 2. So these are ready now to run additional feeder wires, which I'll, in the case of the roundhouse, I'll hook these guys up. I'll probably use a common one for some of these guys. No need to dedicate a single terminal for each one of them.